I still remember the day when my mom first brought home my dog, Zelda. She was a great dog, huge, headstrong, and lovable. I remember after she got hit by a car and she had part of her hip removed, she still pulled on that leash like an absolute beast. She was awesome. I also remember in 10th grade, when she began to refuse to eat her food. It was just 1 week that this started. And then I remember the day when we had to put her down because her kidneys had failed. It's always something when you find out a week after you put your dog down that the food you had been making her eat was contaminated. According to the April 2nd, 2007 CBS News article entitled "FDA Blocks Wheat Gluten from China," 100 brands under the company name Menu Foods have been contaminated with the chemical known as melamine, and 900 FDA food complaints resulted from its contamination. Now, as educated individuals, it is our responsibility to see these dangers in purchasing brands and certain foods and any sort of product from a company that is producing products irresponsibly. My story, like millions of other stories out there, are based off of just people buying things and trusting that a brand will be safe, and finding out instead it was extremely dangerous. So, today I will be informing you on the problem of purchasing products without being well read about what they are. Then, secondly, I will tell you about the causes of this problem. Thirdly, I will be speaking about the solutions. So, let's begin by looking into this problem. As I said, the problem is about not being well informed about the products we are purchasing. This may not sound like a very big problem, but think again. It is highly important that these products we trust have in our homes, to be feeding to our children, our animals, to be using daily are important. Trusting them too easily can be dangerous. Just a few years back, 3 years ago in fact, an excellent example of this danger arose with the lead poisoning scare. Now, the September 18, 2007 USA article entitled "Mattel Toy Lead Was 180 Times the Limit" tells us a story about how several companies produced products and even put them on store shelves extremely irresponsibly. Some of these companies, Mattel and Oriental Trading Company. Now, an example of this was when Mattel sold products that contained 11% lead in their paint. Now, according to Dr. John Roston, head of the lead department of the New York City Children's Hospital, a child who plays with a toy containing 11% lead for 1 to 6 months could receive substantial or severe lead poisoning. And that's with 11% lead. The real shock came when I read that the Oriental Trading Company was selling toys containing 96% lead. 96%, that's absolutely insane. It's almost completely made of lead. The article called "Childhood Lead Poisoning: Conservative Estimates of the Social and Economic Benefits of Lead Hazard Control" in the Environmental Health Perspectives Journal tells us that lead poisoning can lead to permanent health problems such as ADHD, mental retardation, seizures, coma, and even, at the worst, death. Here I have a couple examples of other things that have been produced irresponsibly. Various foods such as cheeses containing E. coli. Children's toys, of course, containing lead. More toys, beauty products, children's toys containing lead. Bottles containing the chemical BPA. A toy containing lead. Meat containing E. coli. It's everywhere around us. So, let's discuss the cause of this problem. Why is this happening? Well, to speak about this, we'll have to look into the difficulty of finding safe products. Honestly, companies are constantly misconstruing facts and representing themselves as being responsible or safe when they are not. As well as, when a consumer goes into a store, you have to decide between the lesser of two evils oftentimes when choosing a product. And we'll go into that a little further and I'll explain it in detail. So, a great example of this was my story about the dog Zelda that I once owned. Of course, we wanted to buy her some great food that would be very healthy for her, but being in a financial situation, we chose the generic name brand food. Our decision was spend more money on something that could perhaps be better, or spend less money, get something less responsible. Choosing between the two evils of spending money or getting something that is probably not that great of a product. Now, according to the November 3rd, 2010 Bloomberg Businessweek article entitled 99 cents only stores, second quarter profits and sales on the rise, we can see obviously that America is continuing to choose these less reliable products for the simple matter that they are cheaper. And especially in this economic environment, this is happening more and more often. Now, this is not always the case, however. Some brands seem extremely reliable, but they are misconstruing the facts. In fact, they are cutting corners. An example of this, continuing the trend with the dog food, would be the brand Eukanuba. If you've seen the commercials, it seems like a very reliable brand. It is touted to be very healthy for your dog and to promote a great life for the dog. It's even quite expensive. However, according to the April 20th, 2007 Fox News article entitled List of Pet Food Name Brands Subject to Recall, this is not so. It was also contaminated with the same food that killed my dog. Another company, which we discussed, Mattel, also seemed very reliable. Producing toys under the brand name Fisher-Price, they sold a certain toy with 11% lead in the paint. Obviously, this reliable company was not as reliable as we had thought. So, if we have all these problems, what is the solution to this? Well, it is not always so simple, but honestly, the solution is for us customers and consumers to become more educated and to do the research, while keeping in mind that we cannot know it all about the products we are consuming. The best place to find this information would of course be the internet. While searching the phrase safe children's toys on Google, I was able to find 1,920,000 results. There's no shortage of information. Another great website is recalls.gov. This is a website that tells you all of the past and pretty frequent recalls that are going on right now, such as the Toyota recalls, tons of recalls with consumer products. Just looking at the page, I was able to find the 32 consumer product recalls that happened in October. So, we are not helpless as consumers. We are not at the mercy of these companies who are cutting corners. Not at all. As educated individuals, we have the ability to make the proper choices and also know full well if we do not, there are consequences. So, most importantly, with the information I've given you, you now have the ability to make sure that my story with my dog who was killed by this improper manufacturing of food does not become your story.